You would not believe what they're doing to this place. I'm walking through what used to be a forest, but now is sort of a wasteland. This used to be one of the few places that I would be able to come in my area for peace and tranquility to think and just ponder things. And then they cut down all the trees. I assume they're going to build houses here or something. I live in like a small village. This is not a big city area. This is a small village of like population 3,000. But it looks like they're trying to increase that number, and so they cut down this entire forest. This used to be a whole forest. Look at these trees. Look how tall these piles are, man, of trees. Look at this. Like, it's huge. And this is just really just one more thing that is pushing me away from where I am. Before I was talking about how I built this entire fan base on this other account with people who, kind of only like a version of me. And so I'm not truly able to be myself in front of that crowd. Even though they followed for me, they followed for a version of me that I don't like really being anymore, that I kind of outgrew. I grew a fan base on this other account that I kind of outgrew, I guess, and that slowly began to eat away at me more than fulfill my purpose or fulfill what I want to be my purpose. Look at the forest, man. There's no forest. This all used to be really thick. You couldn't even see through here. It's all gone. It's all gone. And I just got back from Ecuador. I spent some time down in Ecuador camping in the Amazon and doing some of the stuff that I actually like doing. And a part of me came to life when I did that I thought had maybe died permanently. And it was the part of me that realized that if you do hard things, almost always only good things will come of it. Because it kind of bleeds into the chaos theory, I think, which basically says that there's no way to really predict anything in life because the smallest interruptions in a what might otherwise be considered like controlled or predetermined environment can cause disruptions. The smallest interruptions can disrupt the whole process of what they want it to be, the controller wants it to be. The smallest interruption can change the future despite the control mechanisms that are in place to prevent change. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I'm trying. The smallest interruption in a life caused by one person can change the entire world. And I'm not trying to change the entire world. I'm just trying to change my life. And I realized that when I was in the Amazon getting bit by 1,000 mosquitoes, looking for jaguars in the middle of the night with these Warani tribes people, that I'm not causing enough disruptions in my life that I'm not happy with. I'm not happy with my life, and I'm not causing enough disruptions in my life because of that unhappiness. I need to cause more disruptions. I need to interrupt my own life. And that doesn't mean I need to go to the store, paint my face purple, and start demanding people talk to me on camera and stuff like that. Not at all. It means that I'm not interrupting my own path enough. There's a path that has been determined because of actions that I've made, and I'm not doing enough now that I've discovered I don't like that path to disrupt the course. and I need to do more. I need to do way, way more. And so if I'm unhappy, the obvious solution to my unhappiness, in my particular case, is, well, stop walking down the path that has made you unhappy. Stop going that way. Stop traveling the road that is leading you to discontentment. And start maybe, I don't know, just deviating from the path and walking into the woods. And see if something happens different. See if there's a different outcome. There will be. I mean, I'm already not on the path. I'm already on a completely different course now. I just discovered some deer bones down here that I would have never seen from the path, arranged in a triangular pattern. That's kind of interesting, huh? Probably means nothing, but I'm always I'm always looking at things like that. I need to disrupt the way that I've been walking on. I need to deviate from my path. And I realized this, I know I'm just kind of saying the same thing over and over here, but I realized this as I was in the Amazon, getting clobbered by nature, sweating my ass off, being completely uncomfortable, but at the same time being so at peace and overjoyed in my discomfort. There was something about that discomfort that made it all worth it. And I can't say the same about my current situation. You know, I'm 34, I'm broke, I quit my job 2 years ago to pursue my dream. My dream became somewhat more uncomfortable than my actual job that I quit. This mosquito is relentless. And now I'm sort of at a point of no return. Because it's like, well, I could just go back to a job. I could just go get another job. I could be a truck driver again. I could do something like that. I could, if you will, return to the other path that had previously been constructed from me, that I walked away from and escaped from. I could return to that path. I could just suck it up with my unhappiness and continue to ram my head against the wall of discontentment and decide that even though I'm unhappy, it makes me money. Or I could find a completely new path. At this point of no return where I'm broke, I'm 34, I've demolished all of, the traditional ways of success in society from my plans. I've sort of decided that I'm not going to do it the way that society would have me do it because I hate it. I have 2 degrees. I have a degree in military intelligence collection, and I have a degree in sociology, a bachelor's and an associate's. And I could decide to go back to the organized, neat, tidy way that society would have me perform. Or at this point of no return, when I'm 34 and broke, I could just keep being chaos. Remember what made me chaos in the first place and get back to being chaotic. Because what made me chaotic in the first place was unhappiness. What made me disrupt my organized life in the first place. My 9 to 5, which was actually a 3 to 3, so I was working a lot, but it was still organized, if you will, because I made good money and I was able to, afford all sorts of things and all this kind of stuff. I could get back to that, but I have to remember that I chose chaos in those days because I wasn't happy with that. So what makes me think now that going back to that is going to make me happy again? It didn't make me happy before. Instead, maybe I should remember chaos, and I should remember that what got me here in the first place, in this completely unexpected realm, was disrupting my determined path. The path that had been determined at that time. Nothing is ever 100% certain or determined or permanent, right? Like everything can change in the blink of an eye. You just have to be the change in your own life. Obviously a car crash could happen and you could have your arm amputated, and that's sort of a disruption that you didn't choose, and it's not going to be one that's better for you. Here's another huge bone. This must be like a cow. Must be like it's a portion, it's broken. Must be like a cow. But if you want actual change that might come about because you forced it to, well, nobody's going to do that for you, obviously. That's you. You have to do it. You have to make it happen. And you can sit on YouTube and you can cry about it. Or you can cry about it to your girlfriend. Or you can cry about it to your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your friends. Or you can see the shambles, the destruction all around you. You can see where you've ended up and decided that it's not where you want to be. And you can choose to not let that contain you, that environment. You can choose to not let that place keep you. And you can walk into the woods. You can walk into the discomfort for a brief moment. You can choose to be the disruption in your own life. And just see what happens. Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen until you get there. But you got to be brave. You've got to be courageous. You have to be strong. You have to be willing to go through the pain and the confusion and the chaos. Because you weren't happy in the first place. You weren't where you wanted to be. So of course, it's not going to be easy to escape from that place. You worked so hard to get yourself there in the first place. You have to choose the harder thing until it gets easier. And hopefully when it gets easier, this time you're somewhere that you're more happy to be. Somewhere you're more content. Somewhere that serves you better. Hopefully by the time you get to where you're like, okay, yeah, this is what I was working for, you don't have to choose chaos anymore. Then you can just choose control, maintenance. You could start to build your life better. But first, you have to be that explorer in the woods. You have to be that adventurer. You have to be that disruption. Anyway, those are just some thoughts that I've been having. Thanks for everybody who's been watching these videos on this random channel. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.